Welcome back to your show, Cigar Time, for February 17, 2015.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Well, I was just going to say, I hope everybody's sweetheart bought them cigars, gave them a great Valentine's Day.
What? You're a woman. You don't care about Valentine's Day?
I'm single, so I don't care.
Well, your sweetheart should give you cigars.
I'm single. I have no sweetheart. I have no cigars, no sweetheart.
Well, I'm sure.
happy to say my wife gave me exactly what I wanted.
Nothing.
No, she gave me exactly what I wanted and a cigar.
Oh.
Yeah, he only gets that 3 times a year.
Cigar?
Major holiday.
Let's try to regain control here. Today's show is brought to you by CLE, the manufacturer of Asylum cigars and the CLE line of cigars. We're honored today to have John Toscano,
Thank you, guys.
who's the Executive Vice President of Sales in the Northeast region of the country. Did I get you a raise, what I just said?
I'm hoping.
Well, yeah. The lovely Miss T will tell you all about our cigar for today, which is an Asylum 13 Corojo. And take it away.
Oh, thank you. Well, like he said, it is an Asylum 13 Corojo. The wrapper, binder, and filler are all Honduran Corojo, so that's a Honduran Corojo Puro. There's 4 sizes. We have Robusto, we have the Gordo, we have a 7x70, and a 6x80. I think I like to call that a monster, like a type cigar.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you smoke that cigar?
I have. I told you I take it to the bars, and I like to give people like to laugh and say,
Troll
"What
around the
is
bars,
that? Troll the bar."
Look, this is perfect. It's red. You take it over Valentine's Day.
It
take it
is
home with
red.
you then?
This is pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, I take it home. The taste profile is earth and Rob's favorite, wood.
Rob gets wood out of this. Well, we'll see.
God.
When we get the comments, we'll see if
All
he
right,
gets
we'll
wood.
see if he gets
Okay,
wood.
CLE Cigars is owned by Christian Aroa. I've known Christian and his father for, 20 years, and they're fine people. They were the founders of the Camacho line, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. They had many other brands, national brand, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which they sold a number of years ago to the Davidoff Corporation. So, John, what got you into the cigar business? I think I know the answer, but they...
Yeah. Family business. I started out.
No. Family business? You're from South Philly?
Well, South Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, wrong family. This will be I'm starting my 32nd year now in this industry. Yeah. Yeah.
You look so young.
Yeah, I am.
you come in when you were 6 or something?
Started out really young. So
He's actually 70.
but I've been repping for a long time now. So it just came to CLE in 2014, and great promise, great opportunities here. So Christian really is a class act to work for.
Oh, yes, he is a great guy.
Absolutely.
I've known him, like I said, I've known him a long
Yes,
time.
you have. He talks very highly of you.
Oh, he lies. He lies a lot.
Rob, not so much.
Yeah,
he
I know,
talks
yeah.
highly of you.
No,
Tell him I got my hair cut though.
He loves it too.
Christian is one of the true rock stars of this.
Yeah.
He is,
Yes.
absolutely.
Legitimately.
He even has the looks to go along with it.
Yeah, I guess.
John, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the Asylum line?
So the Asylum 13 Corojo is what we're smoking today. This is a Honduran Puro, all authentic Corojo, which Christian and his family obviously are probably most noted for.
Great growers, yeah.
If I've always said if Christian can't make a great Corojo, then he's
Give
got some
up.
serious
Yeah,
problems.
Give
you know?
up, yeah.
But yeah, you definitely get the earth and the wood. You also get some toastiness from this cigar. It's medium to medium full with full flavor. There's a lot of different flavors going on there, and that's something that Christian loves to do. Play with the flavors. Try to get maximum flavor out of a cigar. So I think today you're going to, as you're smoking this, you're going to taste a lot of different things in here besides the earth and wood and toastiness. A little bit of spice. That's all from that Honduran Corojo that he's so famous for. And I think you will find it smokes very smooth, but a lot of flavor. Again, a lot of flavor. So.
And I think, for the next 2 weeks, I believe we're going to be running some great events in the stores and great promotions, and we'll tell you about that a little bit later on. Let's get everybody's first impression.
I'll go first.
Well, I have a question for John first.
Yes.
This is a newer version of the of the Asylum 13, isn't it?
Yes, the first Asylum 13 is a Nicaraguan blend. That's all dark Habano wrapper with a Nicaraguan filler and binder. So that's a little bit more peppery, it's a little more spicy, and a little more woody. And on the 13 Corojo, that is something that we came out with the beginning of last year, and it's steadily growing. So,
For those of you, by the way, that are familiar with the original Asylum 13 and are looking for the newer one, the Corojo, the band is red instead of black.
yes.
So look for that on the shelf.
How suitable this week of Valentine's Day.
Fits perfect.
Yeah. All right, Tia asked to go first.
I
so-
did. I know this is your product, but from my taste profile, I just kind of tend to disagree with the spiciness on what that you compared from the Habano one, right? Correct, to the Nicaraguan one to this Honduran Corojo. This is very, very spicy to me. The draw is wonderful. It's very smooth as far as the draw is concerned. I get a lot of smoke, which I like. I don't have to fight the cigar for that. But this is just too spicy for me. Like my entire mouth is like, you know, I just want to drink something right now. It's on fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am.
Well, I'm glad we started out with Tia.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too.
Scott? What?
I disagree. I don't think it's that spicy at all. It's got a little. I actually find it sweeter
Sweet.
than anything else.
Yeah.
I agree with the draw. Very nice construction. And this is actually the first. I've never had this cigar before.
Really?
No, it's
Wow.
never. I just haven't. When we started carrying it relatively recently, so far I'm liking it a lot.
Paul?
Well, I tend to agree with both Tia and Scott. I get the earth and I get the, well, I get a little wood.
Get Earth, Wind, and Fire?
But
It's an
I
age thing.
I get a nice amount of spice, and it really does have not a sweet finish, a sweet start. Like
Yeah.
the leaf in your mouth tastes sweet. It's really nice. And like both of them said, fantastic draw and huge amounts of smoke, which are both
Ton of smoke.
great things.
Yeah.
Rob?
I agree with Paul in the fact
Who
that
agrees with the two of
agrees
them.
with both of them.
So we're all in
Wow.
agreement.
Yeah, we're all in
agreement.
We have an
I'm
accord.
definitely getting the peppery taste, the sweetness, that, and everything. The draw's fantastic. I've had a bunch of these cigars. I think it's a very good cigar. So
What about the
far,
retro
so-
hail? Could you speak on
The
that?
retro hail is interesting. I'll get into that later, but yeah, I agree with everybody. So
Since I like to be a rugged individualist, I agree with Paul the cameraman.
That's a first.
No, I don't find this all that spicy at all. I'm getting this sweet, nutty, toasty flavor out of it. It has a good retrohale. It's burning very evenly. And I agree with everyone who said it's a nice, easy draw. It's a pleasure to draw on this cigar, and it's well packed too. So it's rolled magnificently. And being a Honduran Puro, it's one of my
That's
favorites.
it, Honduran.
Pretty good
How
cigar.
much are these?
Pretty good
This
cigar.
is the relatively, in like the 650 range for the Robusto. Is that about right?
Yeah, retail starts at 580,
Okay.
right around there. So we have 4 sizes.
So it's in a sweet spot of pricing.
Yes, yeah. I think for you guys,
And,
Most
and
of
the,
CLE is in the sweet spot of pricing. Most of them.
And the,
Well,
and the big boys,
think so.
the
Sort of.
6x80 and the 7x70 are probably, I would think, the most reasonably priced cigars you're going to find in that size
Yes.
range.
And to make it even more reasonable, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to run buy 4 of any of the CLE cigars and get 2 free. How's that sound?
great deal.
That's a
That's a
pretty
great
good.
deal.
And the events which John will be attending, I think Scott has the dates on those events. He'll give you that a little bit later.
Yeah.
At the events you'll be hopefully attending, John will have some swag and some other goodies. So,
Absolutely.
It's
This
2
is-
free at the register.
what's that?
yes,
2 free at the
2
register.
free at the register.
Yep, 2 free at the
Make
register.
sure you say it. 2
I
free
thought
at
it
the
interesting that they went with a traditional Robusto size, then jumped up to the newer
Right, yeah. They're the ones who really started
They
it.
completely
And then-
skipped the Toro, right?
What was the 6x80 and a 7x7?
7x7. Yeah.
Pretty nice
And a
size
6 by-
Robusto.
yeah,
I
6
like
by
that
80.
in the Ogre. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
They're the ones who really kicked that off.
Yeah, I think
Chris
you
is
did.
one of
Well, you know, the 7x70 was the first, and with that, you know, he wanted to be able to introduce a cigar that was of higher quality, but at a reasonable price. Listen, 7x70s were around before,
Yeah.
Right, but
but you're talking into $10+
Yeah.
range.
Right.
So he wanted to introduce something that was more affordable
Yep.
for the consumer. So.
Well, it's fun. We talked about this before with the somebody came in. One of the a rep came in and said, "What do you think about these bigger cigars?" And my first question to him was, "Well, can you define what a bigger cigar is?"
Yeah.
Because a 6x60 4 or 5 years ago was a giant
That
cigar.
was a big
Now
cigar.
I can't tell the difference between a 6x60 and a
yeah,
Toro
with the bigger
sometimes.
sizes, you can't really tell anymore.
Yeah,
when you
that's
see
true.
something that's
Yeah.
that's like a Toro size, a traditional
Yeah.
Toro 6x50, it looks almost like a Corona
Yeah, yeah, it
anymore
does, yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
bigger sizes. It's
Right.
getting crazy out
Yeah,
there.
the
John,
size become
And I remember,
normalized.
and I remember when the '60s first came out.
Right.
What, 7, 8, 10 years ago? Everyone in the industry was like, "Who's going to buy that?"
Yeah.
Right,
You know.
exactly. Yeah.
Now, yeah, we're you
John,
know,
why don't you tell us something about some of the other models like the Ogre, and, you know, some of the unusual sizes.
Yeah, the Ogre is a Candela Dark Habano, really a Maduro barber pole. So that's more medium. You know, Candela, as you know, is very
I love
earthy,
it.
very mild wrapper. So with that, you're going to get that nice blend of the Maduro with the Candela. Really makes it a medium-bodied cigar, but full flavored still. It's a Nicaraguan blend, so you're still going to get that Nicaraguan, you know, flavor in there too.
Can I tell a funny story about that cigar?
Absolutely.
Very recently, somebody who doesn't smoke, he usually smokes one specific cigar, but he bought 2 Ogres and he cut it and he couldn't figure out how to get the green paper off.
What? Oh my God! Are you serious?
He's sitting there, so so Sal, I won't mention any
I was
names.
just going to say,
I won't mention any names, but
That's going to go over big. Well, I think we've arrived at the time of the program when it's time to drag Paul in from the fields. And Paul, I think you have.
he tracked mud off through the store.
I
Yeah,
see.
you see that?
I can see while you were out in the field, you didn't want to get your Cigar Time shirt dirty.
No, well, I did get it dirty. That's why.
Oh,
I'm
that's
not
why you're
wearing
not wearing it. Okay.
Yeah.
In case you didn't notice, he's not wearing a Cigar
And of
Time
course,
shirt.
he would point it out.
We're going to take a vote later to see if we want to keep him on the island or not.
Hey, please kick away.
What's
today-
your interesting topic for today?
Today, I want to talk about the 4 great banes of cigar smokers, other than taxes and people who are offended by smoke. Those are in a
yeah, they're
category
given.
of their
They're
own.
given.
The 4 things that cigars do that you hate when they do it. And probably the first one that you're maybe painfully familiar with is called canoeing. Canoeing is when one side of the cigar burns away and the other side doesn't. And I guess they call it canoes because it kind of looks like a canoe when the cigar is pretty far down. Just so you know, there's no way to predict when a cigar is going to canoe because there are really 2 different reasons that it might happen. Sometimes the oils in the wrapper are more concentrated in one spot than they are in another, and that side might burn a little slower. Other times it has to do with how the filler is packed, how the bunches are made, and if they're not fully symmetrical, one side is going to burn faster than the other. So that's canoeing.
I might want to add before Paul goes on, all those cigars, which he's going to explain to you the difficulties with those cigars, are not our cigars. We send someone out to a competitor and we pick through his ashtray
Yeah.
to get that.
To find things like this.
Keep your people out of Colmar.
That's not a competitor. That's
By
a
the way,
rollover.
If you get a cigar that canoes, it's the best reason to have a torch-type lighter, because what you can then do, and of
Fix
course
it
I
right
don't have a
away.
torch, but Scott, you do, so I'm going to.
Where's my gas?
It's good for touching up things like canoes.
That's not a torch either.
Yeah,
Well, it is, but
all right,
that'll
John
work.
has one.
Thank you, John.
That flame might be a little high there, so.
That's
Anyway,
not a torch, it's a flamethrower.
The idea is to melt the tablecloth, but you burn the part that hasn't burned and you touch it up. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
And you can usually salvage it. Some people like to say if a cigar starts to burn unevenly, that a well-made cigar will correct itself, and that's generally
Yeah,
true.
it happens,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you put the canoe on the bottom, it generally fixes itself
The heat,
also.
the heat goes up
Right.
through the part that didn't burn
Exactly.
yet, and
Yeah.
that helps it
But
go.
the canoeing doesn't change the flavor. Or
No.
It's
No, it just
basically
burns
the-
one
just-
side
it
of
just
the
looks
cigar.
awful.
That's
It
it.
looks awful.
And it looks awful.
The second
steam
problem,
more.
the second great problem, is something called tunneling. And I don't know. We might show this later on camera. I don't know if you can see it from here. This is a cigar that really tunneled. And tunneling is when the inside of the cigar burns way faster than the outside of the cigar. So it actually burns up the middle without the cigar burning down at all. That can be a real problem. It does affect the flavor, unlike canoeing. It affects everything about it. The cigar can get very hot. Sometimes the burning tunnel will get so far in the cigar and erupt out of the sides, so you suddenly get
I've had that happen.
a hole burning halfway down the cigar. Tunneling is almost always a construction problem. And again, there are two possible reasons for it. Sometimes some of the outer pieces of filler are packed a little too tight, and the inside, the middle of it, is packed a little too loose, so the flame just tends to run up the middle. Sometimes there's a plug farther down in the cigar, and that can cause it. We'll come back to plugs in a minute. Sometimes it's because of stems, and we've talked about stems before.
Yes.
If a cigar tunnels, there's really nothing you can do to fix it. It's your call. You can smoke it anyway if you're brave, but it's not going to taste right, and it won't correct itself.
Paul, you have a couple more examples you want to show us, right?
Yes,
Let's save that for the next show.
you got it. You had a
See
question.
that?
Oh.
That's not a tunnel. That's a black hole. Look at
Yeah.
that. Someone was playing with that one.
No, that actually at a store other than ours, somebody smoked this cigar, and this is what happened. And
Really?
they took it back to the register and said,
Wow.
"Well, I don't want to repeat what they said."
Right.
All right, we'll come back to the other
Yeah.
two big issues next time.
We're very pleased today to have a message from Tom Lazuka, who's a partner in CLE and is a great guy.
Hi, we're here with Tom Lazuka, co-founder of Asylum Cigars. Thank you for being here. It's so nice to meet you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Tom.
Likewise.
And you guys know me and Paul.
I hope so.
So, Tom, how did you get started into the cigar business?
You know what? I got my first taste of the cigar business through a friend of mine named Michael Perales. Him and my best friend were both in the business for a number of years, and I was in the restaurant business, and I was selling. I had 4 restaurants, and I sold those, and I was doing nothing. So my friend said, you know, you should get into the cigar business, and
Well, that's not much like doing nothing.
yeah. Well, I was, yeah. But so, you know, I got a call one day. I actually started in the business. I went to work with Calibri and sold accessories for Calibri. I did that for about 2 years, and then I met a lot of the people from Camacho, and they had offered me a position, and I jumped to the cigar side from the
Okay.
accessory side.
Cool.
And that's where it's at today. It just kind of grew with Christian from there.
Wow. Very nice. So, how do you and Christian work together? Is it?
Well, I come up with all the good ideas, and then he just claims he
takes credit.
comes up with them, you know. But no, you know,
We work with somebody like that, don't we?
Ooh,
Oh, I
Rob?
can't imagine.
No, myself and Christian work very well together. You know, I was very fortunate when I started with Camacho. You know, right away he was like, "Hey, I'm going to Honduras. You want to come down and help blend cigars and work on stuff?" So, you know, I got to go right into it and really learn and get involved with the process with a lot of the cigars we did at Camacho. You know, obviously he sold the company, and I stayed on with Davidoff after the sale of the company, and just the years went by. He said, "Tom, I'm going to launch a new company, and I want you to come with me." And he said, "Save your money and let's start a new company." So that I did, and Asylum was born along with the CLE brand.
Wow, awesome.
How do
I'm
you
sorry.
find the transition from a bigger, well-established company like Camacho to a startup like?
It's a big challenge. Every day, when you're with a larger company, and when you leave, you're nobody again.
Wow.
You really are. I mean, you have to start over and hit the pavement and go out, and I spend 300 days a year on the road. I'm
Wow.
out visiting stores every day. We have 10 sales reps around the country that I travel with on a regular basis, doing events, promoting all of our brands, not just Asylum. And, that's the only way to do it, is get the cigars in people's mouths, and hopefully they like them, and we grow from there.
Well, I think you got a good head start on people liking them.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
definitely. I mean, this brand has taken off. It really has.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate.
Yes.
Very fortunate.
So, what do I want to ask? Oh, I have a really good question. Now, about your Asylum cigars, I was reading that they come from the volcanic soil. How does that, I've always wondered, how does that work?
Well, a lot depends on what part of Asylum we're talking about.
Okay.
A lot of Asylum we make in Nicaragua. So, we're using Esteli, Jalapa, different areas of...
Ometepe?
We have not used any
Okay.
Ometepe yet.
Okay.
But, and then we use a lot of Honduran tobacco also, that
Yes.
we grow, obviously. Christian, his family, his father still runs the farm in Danley, Honduras for us. So, obviously most of the CLE stuff is the Honduran tobacco.
Yeah. Cool.
So fundamentally, the Asylum line, in terms of the tobacco, is Nicaraguan.
Yeah, 80% Nicaraguan, and none
And
of
the
them are
CLE
blended
line-
together yet. So,
And the CLE line is mostly Honduran.
Correct.
And it's mostly Iroa family tobacco.
yeah, pretty much everything except for, like you said, if we use the Connecticut shades in Ecuadorian Connecticut, we use from ASP, we use some San Andreas Maduro, things like that.
So you do play around or blend with other different types of tobaccos?
Absolutely.
Have you ever tried Dominican yet?
Well, we have not mixed that into our normal mix of Asylum or CLE or Iroa, but we are going to do that.
I have an idea. I think we should break for a bit, and if you can join us again next week, we will get deeper into the cigars themselves.
That would be great, absolutely.
All right. Thanks for
All right,
coming in,
thank
Tom.
you.
Oh, you're welcome, thank you.
That was very nice, Tom. Thank you. Time to review our cigars?
Wow, time flew.
Yes, time
Wow.
flies when you're
All
having
right.
fun.
I'll go first again if you don't mind.
You can't review yours.
I have an excellent review.
Oh,
Sure you do.
That's a shock.
remember, it's a scale of 1 to 100,
1 to 10.
or 1 to 10. What
One
did I
to
say?
10,
100?
1 to 100.
Do you watch the show?
He's not even on the
I
show.
recorded. I don't have time to
Oh, my
watch.
God.
I'm too busy dragging him in from the fields.
Okay,
That's a full-time job.
it has started to sweeten a little,
Praise
but
the Lord.
the spice is still on the front, the back, and it crept to the throat. So I'm just really not enjoying this as much as I do the other line, which is the Nicaraguan line, which is the Asylum line. Like I said, I love the Ogre, that's my favorite. But this one is just not, it's just not my profile. And they can't make everything for everybody every time, So this is just one that I know not to pick up anymore
Scott?
and get. Hey, dang! Oh my God!
Where's the hook?
Wow.
Again, I like this one better than the original, the Nicaraguan. What I didn't notice earlier is it's got a great mouthfeel. Like it really coats
Yeah.
your entire palate.
It does.
And I did pick up. It's still sweet, a slight bit of spice, and I picked up a little bit of honey of all things. That's what made me think of the mouthfeel.
Paul?
I found that while the spice stayed there a little bit, it backed off considerably so that the other flavors could come through better. And what it added to the mix, besides the earth and the wood and the sweetness, was a little bit of creaminess, which I am really enjoying, and that might relate back to what you were saying as far as coating your whole palate.
Rob?
I agree with what's your name? Scott?
Scott.
Jimmy.
I'm getting a white pepper as opposed to a black pepper in this through the retro hail.
But not a ghost pepper.
Not a ghost pepper. No.
Isn't
Not
that
a
white?
ghost pepper. I am getting the earth to this. I'm getting nutty taste from it. It's very good. You can definitely taste the Corojo,
Yeah.
which I really like in Christian cigars. I really do.
It is a distinctive.
It is a
Yes,
Very
yes,
tasty,
it is.
especially his
and
Corojo.
it's a
Yeah.
ton of smoke in this cigar. It's
Well,
Trying
that's
to,
the
trying to put a
only good
number
thing
on it,
about
starting with Scott.
I'm going with an 8.75.
Paul?
I'll go with an 8.5.
Rob?
I agree with Paul. 8.5.
5.5.
What? Art, you're really going to have to.
I have to go 12.9.
No one will ever be as bad as the Master Blend 3 here, okay?
Okay.
So,
Okay, here's the deal.
Thank
It's
you.
8.75, regardless of what certain people say. It's a great cigar. Great cigar.
It's very good, yeah.
Scott, why don't you tell us when and how and where are the
Oh,
events?
that's right. We've
Don't
got
mean to
stuff
wake you
coming
up there.
Thank you very much, sir. This Friday in Horsham, the 20th from 12 to 3. And then we're going to switch to Colmar as usual from 5 to 8. And we're going to do a buy 3, get 2 free plus other kind of goodies.
No, it's buy 4 and get 2.
No.
No, he's
for
talking
the
about the
event.
event.
Oh, for the events. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's not on the
better
show.
Just to
deal.
clarify, all for the next 2 weeks, starting now through March 1st, it's buy 4, get 2 more free. At the events, it's 3 and 2.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then the 21st,
swag.
2, 3,
plus
2.
swag. The 21st, which is this Saturday, is going to be Oxford Valley from 12 to 3, and then we switch to Freehold from 5 to 8 with Paul. And then
Without Paul.
next Monday, the 23rd, is Westchester from 5 to 8.
Cool. Nice.
Awesome.
All right.
Westchester's a lot of fun.
What happened to your
So
finger?
Cutting incident. Cigar.
You know, you're
cutter
supposed to
incident.
put the cigar in
There's
the
a-
guillotine, not
There's
your
a little
finger.
blood on here.
He gets them mixed up sometimes. You know, when you suck your thumb.
I was
suck-
shaving my head and I cut my finger.
Just the audience should know Scott bleeds for you.
He bleeds for you.
I feel
He
very
bleeds
passionate.
so you
that
don't
was
have
cute.
to. Well, John, I want to thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
joining
I
us.
appreciate
I
you guys
understand you're
having
going to come
me
back.
on.
You're going to come back next week.
Yes, absolutely.
Great.
I don't know.
Fabulous.
Absolutely.
Well,
Thank you very much.
much.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Great time.
And it's that time. Say goodbye.
Life's too short to smoke cheap cigars. Hi, Mom.
Smoke often and smoke happy.
John,
Stay gold, pony boy.
Miss T.
You took Rob's.
Bye-bye for now. Smoke sweet. Remember, cigars are fun and subjective.
Ciao for now, everybody.
Well, as T said, smoking cigars is very subjective and should be left mostly to adults.
And it is fun.
And experts.
And it is fun, and we are mostly all experts. We want to thank you very much for making our show so successful.
None of
Don't forget to support your local brick and mortar store.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.